Well, how much driving have you done since March? In April, Ontario Premier Doug Ford called on auto insurance companies to lower rates and offer rebates because so few of us are on the road. Personal injury lawyer Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Law joins us this morning, and he tells us that that hasn't happened in a lot of cases.
Yes,
good morning.
Good morning. If we look at sort of the backdrop of how few vehicles there are on the road and how many accidents there are. So these are stats actually from the Toronto Police. Between March 23rd and April 27 of this year, there were 1,535 collisions. Compared to the same period, 2019, that's March 23rd to April 27, 7,309 collisions. That's a 79% reduction in collisions in the city of Toronto. I suspect you're going to see similar stats throughout the province. And we have to ask the question, have insurance companies lowered premiums by close to 80%? Absolutely not. So I'll give you sort of what's being offered is this. Many insurers are saying, park your car. You tell us you're not going to drive it. We'll leave theft and fire on it, and we'll give you up to 75%. Well, you know what? That's something they would do anyway, pre-pandemic. You park your car, you're not driving, you're going to get these type of reductions. And also you're seeing sometimes 10% reductions, 15 up to 25% reduction in premiums. And what does that mean? You've got less collisions, so that's less repairs. You have less injuries. So you don't have the cost of therapy and income replacement and so on and so forth. So I think that it begs the question, despite what our premier said, insurance companies are really not living up to really their corporate responsibility, I think, during this pandemic. Look, banks, they're waiving principal payments for 6 months. Landlords are being asked, don't evict, commercial landlords, and taking a quarter of the rent from the tenant and a subsidy from the government. Governments are stepping up. We have to have insurance. It's like a tax. I mean, you drive, you have to have it. It begs the question, why are they not stepping up to the plate? And I think that, you've got to shop around. Maybe some of the insurance are giving a little bit of a rebate. But my own personal view is there should have been, and it's not too late, around the board reduction in premiums by up to 50%, whether or not you're on the road or not. Because the fact is, even if you are on the road, there's less other vehicles to be involved in a collision with. And we simply haven't seen that. We've just seen, I would call it games. Personally, I call my own broker and I was told, hey, just park your car and we'll give you a bit of a reduction. There's nothing really substantive being offered.
Now, is this a reduction when you renew again, or is this a reduction, do you pay monthly?
Listen, what's being proposed by many insurers is on the monthly payments, because most people are on the monthly. If it was a yearly, then they're allowed now to give a rebate. But, let's look at, again, the backdrop. Premiums have gone up in Ontario from 2017 until now, until the beginning of 2020, by 20% increase in premiums. What's paid out to victims in accidents has gone down 2010 to 2017. There were 17 separate cuts. I think it's time for our politicians and people in general to ask that question. Why aren't you transparent, auto insurance companies? Why aren't you showing your profits? Because when studies are done, independent studies are done of their profits, we see that they make excessive profits. In fact, on Ontario, we pay the highest premiums, just slightly below British Columbia, and our auto premiums are financing the casualty lines throughout the country. And this was a report done by Professor Lazar earlier this year, setting out this is in fact what is happening in Ontario. And I think here we are in a pandemic. Again, everybody's pulling their weight. The question is, why aren't they?
We've got about 30 seconds left. What would you suggest people do when they go to renew this year?
All right. I would say a couple of questions you're going to ask. What rate are you offering me, first of all, because of my reduced driving? But secondly, what are you offering, irrespective of my driving, because there are fewer vehicles on the road? Can you give us a discount, give me a discount, because there are less other vehicles on the road? I would ask that. One thing to remember, too, there are some people who have taken their vehicle off the road, taken off your insurance except for fire and theft. Very important. You might forget you did that. Remember you did it, so when you go back on the road, you put that back on, because you don't want to be in a collision without proper coverage.
That is a very timely reminder there. Nainesh, thank you very much for joining us. Nice to talk to you again. Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Law.
My pleasure. Thank you.